Hi everyone, my name is Daniel Cecil and I am the founder of Honing House. Welcome to this beginner's class on short story fundamentals. So if you're here looking at this video, I am under the assumption that you are interested in writing in some way, shape, or form, and most likely looking to write the short story. And maybe you've tried to write other things before. Maybe you've written an essay, maybe you've tried to crack the beast that is the novel. But the short story form requires a slightly different kind of approach. It is a real compression act that requires all the various tools of fiction to work together in a really confined space. A short story basically is not a novel where you can just sprawl out, let your ego take flight, write long passages that kind of meander. A short story is really a thing of action. And to quote Edgar Allan Poe, he said that a short story should be written for the sake of its last line. And for most stories, that's the case. But what comes before that last line can be really anything. Because of a short story's compression, it's a great place for experimentation. A short story can be a long tirade. It can be actually a complex tale with a narrative line. It can also just be a profound philosophical investigation that throws out plot altogether. But it can also be a whodunit leaning heavily on really well-worn genre tricks. I mean, hell, the last line of a story, a short story, can also be its one and only. What do I mean? Take Amy Hempel's housewife, which this is the whole story. She would always sleep with her husband and with another man in the course of the same day. And then the rest of the day, for whatever was left to her of that day, she would exploit by incanting French film. That's it. That's the whole story. Wonderful, isn't it? All right, and maybe that's all really confusing, especially if you're just starting out. You might be asking, but what is a short story? And what kind of fundamentals, if this is such an experimental form that can take so many shapes, what fundamentals can we learn to make a short story that's engaging, precise, and powerful? This class will cover those necessary fundamentals you need for creating good stories. We'll go over what things you really need to know as a writer to start building a short story in whatever way, shape, or form you decide it should be in its completion. Every module will cover an integral part of the storytelling toolbox and offer exercises that will help you understand how to use those tools effectively to write a short story. By the end of this class, the idea is that you should be able to write the beginnings of your very first short story or refine some skills that will help make your short stories better. Now, before I get into any more confusing definitions of what a short story might be, let's get started and find out what some of these fundamentals are.